Bang! Neeves Knives, I'm Jared. If you're in the market for a crossbar lock knife, maybe you're looking for one, then you should know who's doing it best. What are the top 5 best companies that are doing crossbar lock knives the best? Well, I'm going to show you that in this video, and then I'm also going to show you my top 5 favorite crossbar lock knives. First off, we're going to start off with a couple honorable mentions because there's a lot of companies that are doing a really good job with these. But first we should show what a crossbar lock knife is. A crossbar lock knife it uses an omega spring on each side of the knife, and the omega spring is attached to a bar. That hardened steel bar drops in behind the tang of the blade, securing a strong lockup. These are incredibly strong locks. They're very, very reliable, and that's why people love them. People like to know, the safety feature, because this is a very strong lock. And it can be very fidget friendly. It's very easy to operate. You can even operate it with the lock. But all the knives, or all the companies we're going to talk about, are doing conventional crossbar locks. I'm not making any exceptions with some of the unique ones or modified ones or whatever. Only conventional crossbar lock knives. And we're going to start it off with the first honorable mention, and that is the Bestech Man Cicada. They're doing a good job with their crossbar locks for the most part, but the one knife that I love the most, this was my favorite one. It happens to be their most affordable knife. This is only 30 bucks right now on Blade HQ. It's on sale. I don't know if it's on sale because of my video, but it is on sale. However, even though it's only 30 bucks for 10 CR and an amazing action, this thing's incredibly lightweight. Like, you can't even feel it. They did a huge mistake on it, so I can't recommend it. The reason is because they dropped the stop pin directly behind the edge bevel, making it nearly impossible to sharpen. You can sharpen it once, possibly twice, but I don't know. I just know that you're not going to be able to sharpen it very much because it won't be able to close properly once that's sharpened out right there, which is what's going to happen. So because of that reason, I cannot recommend that one. And, and like I said, that was my favorite one. So, I had to take them off the list for that. Next, Kunwu. Now, Kunwu, I know a lot of people are going to be upset at this one. I love their knives too, guys. I love Kunwu's knives. I think they're doing a phenomenal job. I truly, truly love their knives. But I only have one knife with a crossbar lock from them. Only one. And I think I've only tried 2. And both knives, from mine and the other one I've tried, both had incredibly light detents. Now, this knife doesn't actually use a real detent, but what happens is there's going to be a groove cut into the blade where the bar falls into, and it's basically pushing it. See how it's pushing it down? That's creating tension so that you can have resistance when opening it, so it doesn't just flop out, right? Well, these are very light, and it almost takes away the satisfying feeling of a deployment. Now, the closing on these are some of the best. They have these titanium buttons that are really, really comfortable, very easy to disengage. These things are super smooth on the drop. But because of the spongy detent, I can't put them on the list. Maybe they've improved it since. I don't know. Maybe I need to get some more. CJRB. Now, CJRB is doing a really good job with it, and they do have quite a few knives now in the crossbar lock because they do multiple different of the same model with different locks. This is actually a brand new model. I don't know if you guys have ever even seen this yet. We'll talk about this one in another video, but their crossbar locks are really, really good. I actually do like them. They're very, very solid. They do a good job with their detent. They're very, very smooth. They're riding on bearings. They use good materials. They got the ARRPM9 steel on a lot of them, and I'm sure they use other steels as well because they like to use other steels like S9EV and so on. Obviously, different color options. This has a beautiful sheepsfoot blade, and this is going to be very similar to another one on the list. But I do have to keep these guys at an honorable mention, but I will say if you're looking for an affordable, great crossbar lock knife, check these guys out. They are doing a great job. And when you compare it price to price, I will say that if I was considering price in this, because I'm just looking at my favorites and what I feel like is the best, more so than the best price and stuff like that. So considering that, I would say that if price had something to do with it, these would make the list because they are going to be very affordable and very, very good quality crossbar lock knives. So if you're looking for something affordable, this might be on, this should be on your list. Next, QSP. QSP, I think, could easily make the list. Like, they are doing a really good job. I got to give them credit. Every single one I've tried is a damn bank vault. I mean, just super solid. And I love that. They're doing a good job with their detents. Great knives. I love them. But, you know, only 5 could make the list. So this is my favorite one from QSP. This is the QSP Vault, and it is really good. Aluminum bolsters, my micarta scales. There's different versions. This one's in 14C 28N. Beautiful sharpening tool and plunge grind. They have the buttons on the crossbar, making a very comfortable disengagement, and it has a nice detent. Just a great knife all the way around. It does do one of the issues I talked about with the other one, with the cicada, where the stop pin is back there. However, it is far enough away that I think you will get your money worth out of this. I don't think you'll ever sharpen that much steel off of your knife. So, but if you did by that time, you will definitely have your money's worth. So QSP is definitely on the list as far as honorable mentions, and easily could have just made the list. They are doing a really good job. By the way, I will link all these companies down in the description. Okay, one more really quick, and this one honestly would have made the list. I just don't have any, and so you could easily fit it in the list if you want to. SOG. So I got to give SOG credit, guys. SOG is killing it with their crossbar locks. When I tried the Terminus, I used to own a Terminus, and I loved it so much I wanted giving it to one of my cousins because it was that good of a knife. It was the first time I seen a company that was able to do a detent so well on their crossbar lock that they put a flipper on it. And it had great flipping action, like really good. So for that reason, you know, that they're able to do flipping action crossbar lock knives. They're very solid, rock solid knives. They're doing an incredible job with their crossbar lock knives. They have many different crossbar lock knives, including USA made, big, beefy, hard use knives. Number 5 on the list is Kershaw. I have had more of their crossbar lock knives. This is the only 2 I own at the moment. I've given the other ones away. They are really good. They're doing a great job with their crossbar locks. Now, I'm going to give one complaint, and this is probably why it's not higher up on the list. However, I do know that that's just mine. My Iridium, which I love the Iridium. I think this is a phenomenal knife, really good knife, very affordable, aluminum handles. They do a really good job with it, and it's D2 steel. And there's a smaller version as well now. They have different colors, great knife. But mine has play side to side that I can't get rid of. I can't tighten the pivot down tight enough, and they did send me this. So for that reason, they're low on the list. However, everybody I've talked to and all the other ones I've tried, you know, like just handled from other people, have been solid, rock solid, just like this guy right here. So for that reason, I made sure that they made the list because I freaking love that Kershaw's doing the crossbar lock, and I gotta say, they are doing a phenomenal job with it, especially like with the detent. Now, I did switch my Omega springs, and this is something I'm gonna recommend to anybody that has a crossbar lock. You can easily get yourself stronger Omega springs and make your detents even stronger and your lockups even stronger. So if you have a knife that's a crossbar lock and it possibly has just a tiny bit of up and down, which, let me be clear, crossbar lock knives that do have a little, I'm talking about like a tiny hint of up and down, typically that's not a big issue because the way the lock's designed, that doesn't mean it's going to fail or anything like that. Like other locking systems, I would say, yeah, that's a problem. Crossbar lock knives is not so much. However, if it just bothers you, get thicker Omega springs and it goes right away. I did change mine on this, not for any reason other than I wanted to, because there was no issues. But doing that has made this detent so damn good, and this is so solid. I mean, I freaking love the Bel Air. This is the Kershaw Bel Air, magnet cut steel, aluminum handles, one of the best affordable USA made knives, right around 150 bucks. They're doing a good job with their magnet cut steel, and then overall knife, very thin, very slicey, and just an overall banger knife. Now the Iridium, like I said, they do have a smaller version, but the Iridium is another great one that's going to be more affordable that's made overseas. But Kershaw is at number 5. Number 4, Vosteed. Vosteed, man, they are doing an incredible job. I do like Vosteed knives quite a bit. They are a company that tends to listen to feedback. They even reach out for feedback. You know, every single knife that drops, I just want you guys to know that most companies don't do this, by the way. I'd say 99% don't do this. Each knife they drop They literally send me a message giving me categories of like a numbering of what I think about the knife. You know, like a 3 out of 10, you know, 5 out of 10, 10 out of 10 in different departments so that they can range how good the knife is and how much I like it and so on. I've been very, very honest with them, brutally honest with them, and they take it right on the chin, and that's awesome. So the parallel right here is their thinnest model. Look at this thing. This thing is micro thin. But they do, I'm not sure if these are available right now, and you know, I don't know when you're watching this. Just check the links if you're interested in looking at it. But their crossbar lock knives are phenomenal. They are running on ceramic caged bearings, and they just happen to be doing a really good job with their detents. So they have a nice snap to them. They pop out far enough that you have a good purchase on the crossbar. So it's very easy to deploy and close, whether you're using the crossbar or just deploying it. Then and you can see this detent. Look at that. That resistance, that's really, really well done. This one has aluminum handles. This is probably my favorite one at the moment, especially for the raccoons, because this is the raccoon. Now, this one's obviously more affordable, being my Carta. This one's aluminum, but then you have the Nightshade here. The Nightshade comes in a larger model. I'm hoping they do an XL size model, but this one, even for a tiny little knife like this, which by the way, this blade shape and just everything about it is a phenomenal user. But this thing is done extremely well, and I know some of it has to do with the blade shape and handle shape of why it just functions so well. But Vosteed is doing an incredible job at number 4. Number 3 is Hogue knives. Now, Hogue knives are 100% USA made, which, you know, definitely does something to me. I definitely put that higher on the categories. I know not everybody's going to, but I definitely do. But one of the reasons why I needed them to be on this list is because of how reliably solid they are. I mean, like this Sig Sauer right here, this K320, I mean, I can't flex anything out of it, yet it is so smooth. And these are all on washers. They don't even use bearings. So to get this level of smoothness from a crossbar lock that's not on bearings, it is absolutely amazing. This is their, what the heck's the name of it? Somebody's screaming at their screen right now. It says it on the blade, I believe. The Trauma. This is the Trauma, which is a rescue knife. That's for an oxygen tank, you have a seatbelt cutter, glass breaker, and a blade with a crossbar lock that is rock solid. Very, very smooth. Very good purchase for the crossbar, and you know, being on washers, they might be a little bit better in some cases for dirty environments. It just depends on how you look at it. Bearings are easier to rinse out, but washers repel debris a little bit better. The Deca is one of the best USA made knives for the best bang for your buck, basically. You're getting Magnum cut steel, FRN handles. This one has original goat scales, just like this one, in aluminum. So they do have a lot of scales for a lot of different models as far as original goat. I do recommend getting them with the Hogue Deca if you don't get the G10 model, which is in, I think, 20 CV. But if you get the Magnum cut version, which is in FRN, I recommend getting the original goat scales. I think it just massively improves it. But yes, it definitely brings up the cost. But again, just absolutely rock solid, super smooth. They do a pretty good job with their detent. I would say they're not as good as some other companies, but they're still decent. I have felt some really spongy ones, like the RSK. I think that this one has, at least a large one. This one's good, but the large one seems to have a soft detent, and I don't like that. So there are going to be some models that I'm not a big fan of. I love the RSK. I think it's a phenomenal knife, but I just didn't like how spongy that was. But a lot of them, or a lot of the ones that they are doing an incredible job. But just because of their reliability, their strength, they're USA made, and yeah, got to put them at number 3. Number 2 is Benchmade. Benchmade knives. Now, I had to put them at number 2 because they are the inventor of the crossbar lock. So it's the axis lock, right? Originally called the axis lock, which is a crossbar lock and was the first one. They had a patent on it, but eventually they let the patent expire. They did not renew it. So now any company can use the crossbar lock. So there is no problems with any companies using it. And some companies are honestly doing it better. They just are. And that actually makes me want to put Benchmade lower on the list. But because the crossbar lock would not exist without Benchmade, and they actually are doing a good job with it. It's their lock, and it is my most solid crossbar locks in many cases are Benchmade's. Now, I do know, yes, I have some myself that have issues. They have side-to-side play, up and down, so on and so on. But they have a lifetime warranty. They'll fix it easily. But I also have some like this one, which is actually both of these, my oldest Benchmades and my most beloved Benchmades, are still bank fault solid. And then this one I might have tightened the pivot a little hard, and it's still like, it's like drop shut completely. Like these things are amazing while still being like just rock solid. And I love that about them. I love that my Benchmade Griptilians are so comfortable in the hand. They're so reliable. I love the blade shape, love the hole, but it's not about the knife. It's about the crossbar. Now, the reason why I had to put them on the list, like I said, very reliable. Their detents are not as strong as some other companies, which, you know, they are the inventors of, so you think they'd get that. But I have had some of their models that they actually has a great detent. For an example, the 940 does a pretty good job. The bailout does a really good job with the detent. Bug out's okay. And then the hole deployment knives that they do, which is only the Griptilians, are also pretty good. So I'll say that they're doing an okay job with the opening deployment, or at least a good job. I'll say a good job. But the reliability, they're on washers, most times super solid, 100% lifetime warranty, 100% USA made, and they even have lifetime sharpening. So for that reason, I had to put them at number 2. Having lifetime sharpening, not saying I would ever use it because I wouldn't want my edge belt sharpened, but having a lifetime warranty, a lifetime sharpening, and being 100% USA made, that does come at a cost. So the downfall is, yes, they are expensive. However, one of their best models, the Benchmade Griptilian, is very, very affordable. But I did have to put them in number 2 because they are the inventors. Number 1. First place goes to Kizer's clutch lock, which is a crossbar lock. Now, one modification that they did, and I know I said no modifications, but I make an exception with this one because this just only improves the crossbar lock, which is they did a clutch lock, which is they basically put holes right here so that you can increase or decrease the detent strength. Number 2, they also give you an extra set of Omega springs that are even thicker, making the detents even stronger. That's so amazing, like so amazing. Another awesome thing about the Kizers is most Omega springs or most crossbar lock knives are very difficult to switch the Omega springs, very difficult to take apart. These, just that screw and that screw, you can pop this plate off and then you can easily access your Omega spring to adjust it or to switch it. So that's really awesome because typically with other crossbar locks, you'd have to take apart the entire knife, and it was so frustrating trying to get this bar in here with the Omega springs, and it's just a nightmare. Anybody who's opened up a Benchmade or other crossbar lock knives for the first time knows what I'm talking about. It's very frustrating to deal with, but these make it incredibly easy to work with, because you can use that now for, say, another model that you might have in your collection that's starting to get a weaker detent or maybe isn't locking up as strong, or you can save it for the very old model that you have if you want to increase it. Like this one, for an example, has a perfect detent. It's not even set on the strongest one. It's the second to the strongest, and it still has the first Omega springs that it had in it, so I haven't switched them to the stronger ones. Perfect detent. And the clutch lock, to me, is by far, hands down, the best crossbar lock. No comparison. And, you know, to me, that you think that would make Benchmade mad a little bit. At least I would be if it was me. I would want to show them up on that because they are doing it better. They really are. They truly are. Bank vault-like lockup. Every single one I have, I don't think I have any that have any play, to be honest. And I have some that I've tested thoroughly, that I beat the hell out of. Now, They're crossbar locks, like I said, since you can tune them, that allows you to have a nice, strong opening and satisfying deployment while they're also still on bearings. So it's reliable, it's solid, and with the thicker Omega springs, I think they're original. The first ones that come on the knife are even thicker than Benchmade's original. They're even thicker than Benchmade's Omega springs, just the original ones. So very solid. I think they're even doing a better job with the actual Omega springs. But yeah, man, it makes the crossbar lock such a satisfying knife, knowing how strong it is and knowing that how fidget friendly it is. And then just, you know, how, like I said, how reliable and awesome it is, especially with, you know, when you have a nice strong Omega spring, pulling that bar up behind the tang of the blade, leading to bank vault-like lockup. Now, like I said, I think Kizer, all Kizers, I don't care which one you get, if it has a crossbar lock, they're doing a good job with it. I'll just say that. They're doing a phenomenal job with their crossbar locks. So, here's my top 5 favorite. You have the Hogue Deca. Then you have the Vosteed Raccoon, specifically the aluminum handled one in Nitro V steel. Now they also make this knife with their top liner lock, which is amazing as well. I do believe that this is going to be, or I know that the crossbar lock is even stronger. So we have the Deca, the Raccoon, then we have the Benchmade Griptilian. I don't care if it's the large or the small, both of them are phenomenal, just great all-around knives, and you can get them for a great value, especially being USA made and all the other things I mentioned earlier. And then number 2 would be the Kershaw Bel Air. I love this knife. It's an easy carry, you know, especially if you don't want to carry or if you don't like to carry large knives. This is a little bit more of a smaller knife for me to carry, but it's still a full-size knife, and I have no problem carrying it. And being how slim, lightweight, reliably strong it is, and having such good edge retention and just sharpenability and all of that, which I do have a full video on, I had to pick it for that one. But number 1 is the Kizer Drop Bear by far. Now, I will say that there's a couple other knives that they're doing with the crossbar locks that are also freaking amazing, like their sheepdogs, especially like the purple or even black aluminum sheepdog. There's something about that knife, the feeling of it just has some of the most satisfying crossbar lock action I can think of. Very ergonomic, very solid lockup, and yeah, like I said, the sheepdog's amazing. But the Drop Bear, now even slimmer and slicier than before. So this was one of the original ones, which I love. I think this is very ergonomic. It was one of my favorite ones. I like the aluminum 154cm ones even more than a lot of the super steel ones. But the thinner, slicier one, I like even more now because it is slicier, it's slimmer. The liners are inset. So before they showed the liners, these are inset liners. And it still has everything else the same. Crossbar lock detent, the clutch lock, being able to adjust it, the extra Omega springs. And I can technically, if I want to, I could get or just swap these clips if I want the titanium clip. Now, as far as their super steel ones, I do want to make one complaint. This one's not a super steel one, but it has titanium on it. LC200N, phenomenal steel, tough steel, the most corrosion resistant stainless steel, or most corrosion resistant steel you're going to be able to get. It's a good knife steel. But they're super steels. This is S45VM with a DLC with Nebula fat carbon fiber. While I love this knife a lot, I do think that they are running their super steels on the softer side, which does make me less likely to recommend the super steels, even though I do love their knives a lot. So I would say, in my opinion, I think the best way to go is just go for their Nitro V. The Nitro V or 14C. The Nitro V is their most affordable one, and it might even be the best one. Now, I'm not a fan of this carbon fiber, faux carbon fiber. I wish it was just real carbon fiber or G10, but I've grown to like it actually because it is so lightweight, and they have other versions as well. They got Ultim versions. They got this clear blue or purple ones. They're the same model as this one, and like I said, they're the most affordable ones. Other than that, then I would say the aluminum 154cm one is probably my next best one as far far as the drop bears. But because they are, when I look at the other contenders, like the Hogue Deca, the Bel Air, you can say the Bug Out, the Benchmade Bug Out. Let me grab the Bug Out, because the Bug Out, you know, a lot of people, and I love the Bug Out too. I have some issues with it, but I do think it's a good knife. Just so expensive. But when I look at these, it's very easy for me to go right to the drop bear because they have similar size geometry, much more affordable. The detent and crossbar lock's even better. They give me the extra Omega springs. Now, granted, Kershaw does have probably a better warranty. I don't know. Kizer seems pretty good with their warranties, but they do have lifetime warranty on the Kershaws. But, you know, it's just, you know, it's half the price, maybe a little less than half. And yeah, like I said, man, it's just, it's very hard not choosing. Now, this one does have super steel. So arguably, any one of those in the top 5 are great knives. You know, any one of them are great knives. But there you guys go. That is my top 5 favorite crossbar lock knives and the top 5 best companies, or the companies that are doing it best. Work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.